What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Sure to like and sub, and let's get into this. And I know it is going to come as a shock and an extreme disappointment to anyone that loves the horrible accent I do every time we talk about her. But Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's movie has, it would seem, been put on hold by Lucas. They cannot stop a Pakistani Muslim woman. If you don't remember, I am the one that said it is about time that a woman was in charge of Star Wars, and I like to make men uncomfortable. And unfortunately, I made all the men in power uncomfortable, and so now my movie's not getting made. Yeah, that's basically what happened. So Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, if you believe Chris Gore, when they announced it on that CNN interview that we are all making fun of throughout the years rather, since this was first announced in 2023, that might have just been her choice, that they were never really actually going to make this movie. New rumor alleging that Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy's Rey movie, starring Daisy Ridley, has been put on hold by Lucasfilm. This comes from, again, Daniel Reitman. He's been very busy. He claims the Rey movie is on hold once again, as both the Sean Levy and James Mangold Star Wars films are moving forward first. Project's not canceled, just temporarily on hold. Now, we have seen them go through multiple different writers. We had Stephen Knight, who, of course, did all the Peaky Blinders. He was originally writing the Rey movie, and he, of course, got so many notes on his scripts and had to change it so completely that, he even said it's very difficult to write a movie when you're doing it with both the star, the writer, and a whole litany of people over there at Lucasfilm. So he left. Had George Nolfi, who wrote The Adjustment Bureau, come in. Either way, from Lucasfilm, all we've heard is them talk about Simon Kinberg's trilogy. So you hear Kindy was promoting the new trilogy from Simon Kinberg. We're absolutely rolling fast and furiously. That has gone exceptionally well. And he's literally going to script as we speak. We'll see something probably around June. We're really excited about where that's headed. So that is supposed to be a whole trilogy of movies, again, set in the sequel time period. And also we've got that Sean Levy Starfighter film with Ryan Gosling, which takes place 5 years after the events of Rise of Skywalker, Rey Palpatine, and no word on that other than it's supposed to be Ryan Gosling with a nephew running away because they're being chased by villains for some reason. Sharmeen, like I said, this was announced back in 2023, where it was said that set 15 years after the last events of the Skywalker saga, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy will tell the story of rebuilding the new Jedi Order, the thing that they were supposed to have Luke do, but had him fail, and now Rey was going to do it right, because there's no chance that was just going to alienate everyone. And the powers that rise to tear it down. The director delighted fans by announcing that Daisy Ridley would come back, and that's when she took the stage. Kennedy, the last time she really talked about it in detail, said, we're 15 years out from Rise of Skywalker, so we're kind of post-war, post-First Order, and the Jedi are in disarray. Well, the Jedi don't exist because you failed to have them rebuilt. So this would be, I guess, 15 years of Rey trying to train Jedi, and that they're in disarray. And there's a lot of discussion around who are the Jedi, what are they doing, what's the state of the galaxy. She's attempting to rebuild the Jedi Order based on the books, based on what she promised Luke. So that's where we're going, and it sounds horrible. And of course, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is a activist director talking about women's struggles in the Middle East. She absolutely should be focused on that. I find it in no way comparable to translating over to Star Wars, especially when this is the lady who said, I am an activist. And whether overt or covert, activism is going to be in every little thing that I do. Either big or small, activism will be the guiding. So she was gonna activist it up. It was gonna be a super progressive movie. Daisy Ridley, meanwhile, she's delightful. She has never said anything bad about the fans or anything. Anytime someone has asked her a bait question, she's always sidestepped it and talked about how nice she thinks the fans are. This is in February. She said, I've not read the latest script because it's been rewritten so many times. She says, but I know what's happening and I know the story. And I think what feels really good is that George is a phenomenal writer. She's talking about George Nolfi. I think we're making sure that this story is the best way, that this script is the best to tell the story. And I think it'll be worthwhile for everyone watching. And I'm very excited. George, thankfully, Nolfi, when he talked about Star Wars and politics, in it. He did talk about what we always try to point out, that yeah, there were politics in Star Wars, but it was a classical truths of ultimate power corrupting ultimately and things like that, not modern day analogy. So it does give me hope that at least in the writing, it won't be super on the nose of today's politics. But then in 2024, we heard that Jeff Snyder said the reason for all of this is that, yeah, they're just focusing on the Sean Levy one more. That I'm told that Sean Levy's project does have an element of Rey, but we don't know how much. So it's probably, since it's only 5 years after, it's a cameo, if that. And then in the actual Rey movie, 15 years older, we don't know really what's going on. All we know is that Sharmeen is still apparently on board. George Nolfi is still writing it, but it is now on hold until they do Jedi Starfighter and James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi, which I have less faith that that's happening. But Sean Levy and his Starfighter with Ryan Gosling, that's 100% going forward. And I actually think that one might be good and make the money if they do the marketing the right way. But I don't know. But other than that, you have heard here correct. Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is not going to be giving you a Star Wars movie anytime soon. So if you're upset that a Pakistani Muslim is not doing it, you need to send all the curry packets to Disney Star Wars on my behalf.
Well, bye.